Who hasn't heard the story of the apple that fell on a scientist's head? An event so simple, yet it led to one of the most groundbreaking discoveries about how the world and the universe work. That man was Sir Isaac Newton, a physicist, mathematician, astronomer, natural philosopher, alchemist, theologian, and writer from England. He's widely recognized as one of the greatest physicists and most influential scientists in history. His book, Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, published in 1687, is considered one of the most influential scientific works ever written. So in this video, we're diving deep into the life and mind of one of the greatest geniuses who ever lived. We'll explore his background, his unique way of thinking, and just how hard he worked to unlock the mysteries of the universe. Isaac Newton was born on January 4, 1643, in Woolsthorpe by Colsterworth, England. He came into the world just 3 months after his father passed away, and to make things even harder, he was born prematurely. His early life wasn't easy. His mother remarried when he was only 3 years old and left him in the care of his grandmother. At school, Newton didn't have many friends. His incredible intelligence often made him an outsider rather than admired. So, instead of playing with other kids, Newton spent most of his time reading books and building his own little inventions. Between the ages of 12 and 17, he studied at the King's School in Grantham. But at one point, his family pulled him out, hoping he would give up studying and become a farmer. Luckily, that never happened. His school principal recognized Newton's talent and convinced his family to let him return to school. Newton eventually graduated at the age of 18 with excellent grades. In 1661, he entered Trinity College at the University of Cambridge. There Newton studied as a scissor, basically a poor student who paid for his education by doing odd jobs and serving wealthier students. At the time, the university's teachings were still based on the ideas of Aristotle. But Newton was drawn to more modern thinkers, reading the works of Descartes, Copernicus, Galileo, and Kepler. It was during his years at Cambridge that Newton's true genius began to shine. The foundation of all his future scientific breakthroughs was laid there. Newton lived an incredibly rich intellectual life, embracing all branches of natural philosophy, from physics and mathematics to alchemy. He charted new directions in optics, mechanics, and celestial dynamics, laying the foundation for scientific inquiry that continues even today. For years, Newton immersed himself in the works of great thinkers before him, trying to understand how their ideas connected, yet often finding himself puzzled by the immense complexity of nature's philosophy. In 1664, he received a scholarship, and by 1669, he was appointed as the Lucasian Professor of Mathematics, a position that gave him the freedom to pursue his research without restriction. Newton was so deeply devoted to his studies that he never married, dedicating every ounce of his energy to science. Today, the Royal Society still holds 4 books from Newton's private library. Interestingly, only one of them directly relates to his study of gravity, which shows just how broad and curious his mind really was. Like Van Gogh, Leonardo da Vinci, and Einstein, Newton was a true visionary, a thinker capable of merging ideas from completely different fields to spark creative breakthroughs. He didn't just accept the knowledge passed down from others. He questioned it, challenged it, and expanded it, building upon centuries of thought that came before him. The books and ideas that inspired him eventually led to his greatest achievement, the writing of Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, or simply the Principia. Published in 1687, this revolutionary work changed the world and the way humanity understood science. In the Principia, Newton laid the groundwork for classical mechanics and redefined how people viewed physics and the universe. He presented the law of universal gravitation and the 3 laws of motion, which dominated scientific thinking for the next 3 centuries. Newton proved that the motion of objects on Earth and the motion of celestial bodies in space were governed by the very same natural laws. He even showed that Kepler's laws of planetary motion were consistent with his theory of gravity, a discovery that solidified the heliocentric model, where the Earth orbits the Sun, not the other way around. This helped end centuries of doubt and pushed the scientific revolution forward. Newton's influence didn't stop there. In mechanics, he developed the principles of conservation of momentum and angular momentum. In optics, he built the world's first reflecting telescope and developed a theory of color after observing that a glass prism could split white light into the colors of the spectrum. And in mathematics, along with the German mathematician Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, Newton independently developed differential and integral calculus, one of the most powerful tools in modern science. Over his lifetime, this legendary scientist also held several prestigious positions. He served as the Lucasian Professor of Mathematics at Cambridge, the same position later held by Stephen Hawking. He became a Member of Parliament representing Cambridge in 1689, later the Master of the Mint in 1699, and once again a Member of Parliament in 1701. By 1703, Newton was elected President of the Royal Society of London, and 2 years later, in 1705, he was knighted by Queen Anne, becoming the legendary Sir Isaac Newton. The story of the apple falling on his head has become one of the most iconic examples of what we now call a creative moment. But what most people don't realize is that Newton had been working on his ideas about gravity for nearly 20 years before that story ever took place. It wasn't until 1687 that he finally published his groundbreaking book. The falling apple was only the spark, the beginning of a chain of thoughts that evolved over decades. Sir Isaac Newton was known to sleep only 3 to 4 hours a day. He worked tirelessly, often for days without rest, until he would literally fall ill from exhaustion. Through solving complex problems and formulating universal laws, Newton showed unmatched determination in facing challenges that few could even comprehend. By discovering and publishing his 4 great scientific laws, Newton demonstrated a relentless will to uncover the truth of nature. In solitude, he found answers to the mysteries of the universe. Newton often spent long days alone, studying, experimenting, and corresponding with other scientists, sharing ideas, asking for their insights, and refining his own theories. His dedication and persistence changed not just science, but the way humanity approaches problem-solving itself. His concise yet powerful 4 universal laws were truly revolutionary. As mathematician and biographer Winston once said, "Through these laws Newton formulated the universal principles of nature, laws capable of explaining nearly every unsolved mystery of his time." Newton was an obsessive man, completely devoted to his work, rarely allowing himself a moment of rest. He had almost no social life, never married, and had few close friends. Though wealthy and respected, he lived simply and shared little of his fortune with anyone, not family, not acquaintances. He rarely left Cambridge or London, was known to be stubborn, prideful, and at times vengeful. When angered, Newton could become uncontrollable. His extreme dedication to his research also came at a cost. He suffered multiple nervous breakdowns throughout his life, the first around 1675, following the death of his mother. But despite his isolation and personal struggles, Newton achieved his ultimate goal, unlocking the secrets of how the world truly works. He revealed how forces move, how tides rise and fall, and how planets orbit the sun. His laws even allowed him to calculate the mass of each planet and explain how the gravitational pull of the sun and moon causes Earth's tides. Through these analyses, Newton uncovered the profound influence of the moon on our planet, a discovery that forever changed humanity's understanding of the world we live in. Thanks to his unyielding dedication, Isaac Newton achieved some of the greatest scientific milestones in human history. He wasn't someone who did things halfway. When he set his mind on a problem, he became completely obsessed with solving it. In his later years, when asked how he discovered the law of universal gravitation, Newton simply replied, "By thinking about it constantly." Isaac Newton passed away in 1727. He left behind no will, but what he did leave was a mountain of research papers, notes, and manuscripts. In total, his surviving writings contain nearly 10 million words, enough to fill around 150 novels. Most of these papers reveal just how brilliant he truly was in the fields of science and mathematics. But one question still fascinates people today. How did Newton make his discoveries? That's what we always wonder. How could one man's mind be that extraordinary? Interestingly, Newton never left any draft pages of the first edition of the Principia. All that remains is the clean, final copy he sent to his publisher. When he presented his work on optics, he used formal academic language, carefully hiding the intense labor and years of effort behind his discoveries. Newton didn't want people to know how he reached his conclusions, or the long, messy process it took to get there. And yet, paradoxically, he left us with one of the largest written legacies of any scientist in history, 10 million words, written by his own hand. He wrote endlessly, and amazingly, much of what he created still survives today. Even today, Isaac Newton remains one of the most influential figures in science. In 2005, a survey conducted by the Royal Society asked both scientists and the general public a simple question: who contributed more to science, Newton or Einstein? The results showed that most people still believed Newton made the greater contribution. Sir Isaac Newton is seen as a true hero, a man of incredible determination and hard work, whose discoveries shaped the foundation of modern science. Through his dedication, Newton inspired generations to think deeper and reach further. His devotion to knowledge was unmatched. With relentless persistence, Newton managed to answer questions that no one else could. He inspired not only others, but also himself, through his extraordinary curiosity and intellect. Sir Isaac Newton led the world towards some of the most important scientific discoveries in history. Through all the challenges he faced, he explained many of the greatest mysteries of the universe. We all know the classic story, the apple falling on his head and the discovery of gravity. But Newton was far more than that story. He was an inspiration, a tireless worker, a man with unshakable resolve. Sir Isaac Newton, the greatest scientist ever to walk the earth. Thank you.